India just made the largest strategic gold move in modern history, and almost nobody noticed. While you were sleeping, the Reserve Bank of India quietly accumulated over 200 tons of gold in 2024 and 2025, bringing total official reserves to approximately 854 tons worth $47 billion. But that's just the central bank. Indian households hold an estimated 25,000 to 27,000 tons of gold, worth over $1.1 trillion at current prices. Combined with temple reserves of 3,000 to 4,000 tons, India controls more physical gold than almost any nation on earth. And now the government is mobilizing it. Gold monetization schemes, sovereign gold bonds, and new policies are turning private gold into strategic reserves. India is racing China in the global gold arms race, and they are preparing for the collapse of the dollar. This is the most important gold story nobody's talking about. India isn't just buying gold, they're weaponizing it. In the next 13 minutes, I'll show you why India is accumulating at record levels, what it means for gold prices, and how you can position before the next leg higher. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Tomorrow, I'm releasing The Coming Gold Supply Crisis, India versus China. Let's go. To understand what's happening, you need to understand India's relationship with gold. Gold is embedded in Indian culture, religion, and finance. It's used for weddings, religious festivals like Diwali, as savings, as collateral for loans, and as a hedge against currency debasement. Indian households hold an estimated 25,000 to 27,000 tons of physical gold, more than the official reserves of the United States, Germany, and the IMF combined. This represents approximately $1.1 trillion to $1.2 trillion in value. At current gold prices, around $40 or $300 per ounce. Every year, India imports between 800 and 900 tons of gold, making it the second largest gold consumer in the world after China. During Diwali and wedding seasons, imports can spike by an additional 150 to 200 tons in a single quarter. This consistent demand makes India a critical driver of global gold prices. On the official side, the Reserve Bank of India has been aggressively accumulating gold reserves. According to World Gold Council data and RBI disclosures, India's central bank gold holdings increased by approximately 200 tons over the course of 2024 and 2025, bringing total official reserves to around 854 tons as of late 2025. At current prices, this represents approximately $47 billion in value. While the title references $847 billion, that figure represents the combined value of India's total gold ecosystem, central bank reserves, household holdings, temple gold, and institutional stockpiles, which collectively exceeds $1.2 trillion. The Indian government has also launched initiatives to mobilize private gold. The gold monetization scheme allows households to deposit gold with banks and earn interest, effectively turning idle household gold into productive reserves. Sovereign gold bonds let investors buy gold-backed securities instead of physical metal, reducing import demand while maintaining gold exposure. These schemes are designed to reduce India's dependence on gold imports, which create trade deficits and put pressure on the rupee. The rupee has been weakening significantly. It fell from approximately 73 rupees per US dollar in 2021 to around 83 rupees per dollar by late 2025, a depreciation of roughly 13%. This currency weakness makes gold even more attractive to Indian savers as a store of value and hedge against inflation and rupee devaluation. India is also in a strategic gold race with China. China officially reports holding 2,264 tons of gold, but independent analysts estimate the true figure is closer to 4,000 tons or more due to unreported purchases through state banks and military channels. India, recognizing that gold will play a central role in the post-dollar world order, is racing to catch up. Here's the unfair part. While Western financial advisors tell retail investors that gold is a barbaric relic with no place in modern portfolios, the Reserve Bank of India, the People's Bank of China, and central banks across Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America are buying gold at the fastest pace in 50 years. Indian households understand what Wall Street refuses to admit. Gold is money, and fiat currencies are temporary. At the same time, Western investors are being pushed into overvalued stocks, negative real yield bonds, and speculative assets, while their purchasing power is destroyed by inflation. Indian families, by contrast, have preserved wealth across generations by holding physical gold. The information asymmetry is deliberate to keep Western retail investors out of gold while Eastern central banks and households accumulate. When the dollar collapses and gold reprices to $10,000 or $20,000, the wealth transfer from west to east will be complete. Let's break down the numbers. According to the Reserve Bank of India and World Gold Council data, India's official gold reserves stood at approximately 654 tons in early 2023. By late 2025, the figure had risen to approximately 854 tons. an increase of 200 tons over roughly 2 years. At an average purchase price of around $2,000 per ounce in 2023 and $3,500 to $4,000 in 2024 to 2025, this represents an investment of approximately $14 billion to $16 billion by the RBI. Indian household gold holdings are estimated at 25,000 to 27,000 tons, according to the World Gold Council and industry analysts. At $4,300 per ounce, this represents a collective value of approximately $1.1 trillion to $1.2 trillion. This gold is held in the form of jewelry, coins, and bars, passed down through generations and added to during festivals and weddings. India's annual gold imports in recent years have averaged between 800 and 900 tons. In 2023, imports were approximately 840 tons. In 2024, preliminary estimates suggest imports reached around 880 tons. In 2025, imports are expected to remain in the 850 to 900 ton range. During peak demand periods like Diwali in October and November, monthly imports can exceed 100 tons. Indian temples also hold significant gold reserves. Major temples like Tirupati, Padmanabhaswamy, and Sri Krishnaswamy are estimated to hold between 3,000 and 4,000 tons collectively. Some of this gold has been accumulated over centuries through donations and offerings. Efforts to monetize or audit temple gold have faced religious and political resistance, but the reserves represent a strategic national asset. The Indian rupee has depreciated from approximately 73 per US dollar in early 2021 to around 83 per dollar in late 2025, a decline of about 13%. This makes gold increasingly attractive as a hedge. In rupee terms, gold prices have risen from around 47,000 rupees per 10 grams in 2021 to over 56,000 rupees per 10 grams in late 2025, a gain of nearly 20% even as dollar-denominated gold rose more modestly. China, India's rival in the gold accumulation race, officially holds 2,264 tons as of late 2025. However, analysts estimate unreported holdings could bring China's total to 4,000 to 5,000 tons. India's official reserves of 854 tons pale in comparison, but when household and temple gold are included, India's total holdings rival or exceed China's. India's relationship with gold stretches back thousands of years. Gold has been used as money, jewelry, and a store of wealth in Indian civilization since ancient times. Even during British colonial rule, Indian households hoarded gold as protection against depression and currency manipulation. In 1991, India faced a severe balance of payments crisis and was forced to pledge 67 tons of gold to the Bank of England and the Union Bank of Switzerland in exchange for emergency loans. This humiliation galvanized a national consensus. Never again would India be so vulnerable. Since then, gold accumulation has been both a cultural and strategic priority. In the 2000s, as gold rallied from $250 to $1,900, Indian demand drove global prices higher. In 2013, the Indian government imposed import restrictions and tariffs to curb demand and reduce the trade deficit. Prices corrected, but household buying never stopped. It simply shifted to unofficial channels. The lesson is clear. Indian gold demand is structural, not cyclical. It persists through price rallies, government restrictions, and economic downturns. This demand floor supports global gold prices and ensures that any supply shock or geopolitical crisis sends prices soaring. 4 signals to watch. Signal 1, watch for the Reserve Bank of India to announce another major purchase of 100 tons or more within the next 6 months. If the RBI accelerates accumulation, it confirms that India is preparing for a dollar crisis and gold revaluation. Signal 2, watch India's annual gold imports. If imports exceed 1,000 tons in a single year, it signals both retail FOMO and institutional accumulation. Signal 3, watch the rupee. If the rupee breaks 85 per US dollar and continues weakening, it will accelerate gold buying as households seek protection from currency devaluation. This creates a feedback loop. Rupee weakness drives gold demand, gold imports worsen the trade deficit, and the rupee weakens further. Signal 4, watch for government policy changes. If India launches a mandatory gold declaration scheme or attempts to mobilize household gold into official reserves, it signals desperation and preparation for a currency crisis. Such moves could trigger panic buying before controls are imposed. The fundamentals are clear. India holds 25,000 to 27,000 tons of gold in households, 854 tons in central bank reserves, and 3,000 to 4,000 tons in temples. Over 29,000 tons total, worth more than $1.2 trillion. The Reserve Bank of India added 200 tons in 2 years. Annual imports run 800 to 900 tons. The rupee has depreciated 13% since 2021, making gold essential as a currency hedge. At the same time, India is in a strategic gold race with China as both nations prepare for a post-dollar world. Global gold supply is constrained at around 3,000 tons annually from mining, while central bank demand alone exceeds 1,000 tons per year. India's structural demand ensures a floor under prices. Any supply shock or geopolitical crisis will send gold vertical. Risk lesson. Risk 1. The Indian government could impose import restrictions or tariffs to defend the rupee, temporarily suppressing demand and capping prices. This happened in 2013 and could happen again. Risk 2. Gold is volatile. Even in bull markets, corrections of 10% to 20% are normal. Don't use leverage and be prepared for pullbacks. Risk 3. Buying gold at retail in India carries premiums of 5% to 10% over spot due to taxes and dealer markups. Physical ownership is safer than ETFs, but factor in premiums. Smart play, accumulate physical gold during dips. Indian households' dollar cost average through weddings and festivals follow their lead. Western media will tell you gold is a relic, pays no yield, and has no place in portfolios. Meanwhile, the Reserve Bank of India, 1.4 billion Indian citizens, and central banks worldwide are buying at record levels. Trust actions, not narratives. Gold has preserved wealth for 5,000 years. Fiat currencies last an average of 27 years. Who do you believe? Scenario 1, 50% probability. The RBI adds 150 to 200 tons over the next 12 months. Household demand remains steady at 800 to 900 tons annually. Gold climbs to $5,000 by end 2026. This is the base case. Scenario 2, 30% probability. Rupee crisis triggers panic buying. Imports spike to 1,200 tons. RBI accelerates purchases. Gold surges to $6,000 within 6 to 9 months. This is the crisis scenario. Scenario 3, 20% probability. Government imposes import restrictions. Demand is temporarily suppressed. Gold consolidates between $4,000 and $4,500 through mid-2026. The breakout is delayed but inevitable. Timeline. Watch Q1 2026, Union budget in February for major gold policy announcements. India's Reserve Bank bought 200 tons in 2 years, bringing reserves to 854 tons. Indian households hold at 25,000 to 27,000 tons, worth 1.1 trillion. Temples hold 3,000 to 4,000 tons. Total ecosystem exceeds $1.2 trillion. Annual imports, 800 to 900 tons. The rupee fell 13% since 2021. India is racing China in gold accumulation. Watch 4 signals. RBI buys 100 plus tons. Imports exceed 1,000 tons. Rupee breaks 85. Government mobilizes household gold. Gold is heading to 5,000 plus. Subscribe for tomorrow's The Coming Gold Supply Crisis, India versus China. Comment, are you holding gold? Let's go.